Spider. Hey team. Oh, okay, we're fine. I felt a little, but I think that we're good. I wanted to make a video because I've been thinking about this for a while. Back, I actually read a book on dairy cows, and last year, and it was a textbook, and I'm vegan. I've been vegan since 2019, so it's been 5 years, and I started being vegan when I wanted to do it for a month. And then I just kind of kept going, and I said, okay, well, I'm going to give up honey too, just because I don't want to have to deal with drama of, oh, well, you didn't give up this, why didn't you give up this, and all the ethics questions there and all that stuff. So I didn't want to, I wanted to try it out. I saw a video, and it was about sustainability, and it was about how many resources our food suppliers need to survive, and then with the limited resources that we have on the planet, and everybody, the growing populations, it just seemed to make sense to cut back on those things. And I kind of was thinking about kind of being vegetarian again when I read the dairy cow textbook, and a position at a dairy farm opened up, and I said, I'm vegan, but I want to try it because I read this book, and it was really, I just wanted to see it in action, and so they're like, well, that's really strange, and like half of whose it was like, that's hypocritical, how could you? And I grew up, like, my whole life was, like, I would like trip, and I'd bounce back up, and I'd be like, that's okay, I drank my milk growing up, so so technically, I think you could argue that becoming vegan was actually fairly hypocritical as well, but it wasn't for ethical reasons per se. It was to promote sustainability in lifestyles, and to try and cut back on the supplies needed for the animals that nourish us and take care of us. I saw a post, and it was something that was in the book that I read. It was dairy cows are, the human race's foster mother, so that was actually posted by the farm that I helped at, and I was just there for maybe a month because I ended up moving. I ended up moving. Moo cow. I ended up moving, so I wasn't able to stay longer. So they said, okay, well, we can be done then, and we'll see you around. And so it was very interesting. I'm interested in agriculture. I'd love to learn more about farming, and I'm interested in permaculture, and I don't have a plot of land, and right now I'm camping for the summer, and so. But I am interested in homesteading as well. And so I just kind of felt like there are other models of sustainability to try. And I felt like I was kind of being trapped in the vegan rhetoric, in that I wouldn't be able to try having honeybees, and I do believe that there are ethical ways. I found that you can work that, where you can have honey and you're not destroying their home, and if you're feeding them and taking care of them and things, it's because I saw the honeycomb thing that it was like plastic, and then it would like open up, and then the honey would fall out, and then you'd click the honeycombs back into place. And so I was like, well, that probably wouldn't be detrimental to their lifestyle. And so I wanted goats, and it makes sense to be able to shear the goats without people being like, well, you can't, that's a animal byproduct, you can't use the wool. And I know I've made videos in the past about liking to knit, and I have knitted goods, and so I said, those are grandfathered in, I'm gonna keep wearing those. And so it's the nuances there. It's just a haircut for the animals in that regard. So it was, kind of just like, because I wanted to have goats and things like that. And I also became worried about my nutrition and my health, just because I felt I had a chip in my jaw. It was right over here, and I could feel this notch, and I was like, are my bones falling apart because I haven't had dairy in 5 years? I just started having calcium supplements probably a year ago, and I've been vegan for 5, and I was saying, I grew up on milk and it made me so strong, and now I can feel my bones cracking in obscure places, and and so it's like, oh, I don't care for that. And so since just the health element of it, and the wanting to do the homesteading and not wanting to feel guilty about wanting to experiment about that model of sustainability, of having like small scale farming and the ethics of that. And so I don't want to have to feel bad, just because I did just want to help, with resource management and saving the planet. But there are other models of sustainability that I'm interested in. So I would love to continue that. And so I was thinking about becoming vegetarian. Again, I was vegetarian for 15 years before I became vegan for 5. I might try doing like a lot of like a mixture of the two, so vegan and vegetarian. I haven't had anything that was vegetarian yet. I still, I was thinking about this, and I kind of decided that I wanted to be vegetarian again, and I haven't had cheese yet, or I haven't had milk or eggs that I'm aware of, unless they got my coffee order wrong. So I don't know. I haven't officially done it yet. I've not gone back to the dairy, but I think it would be interesting, just because I have worked on a more large scale dairy farm, of having like a smaller scale, and being able to take care of the animals, experiment in that regard, to try and make it, like best practices, and the best of the best. If it's small scale, you can spoil rotten every single cow because you only got 2. Or whatever. But to start with, obviously they need to have calves if you want to have the milk, but but yeah, and I don't want to be a meat eater again. I don't think I would ever do that again. I love the animals, and I don't want to do that to them. But I know that's the circle of life to a lot of people too. And so you can call me a sap, and you can say whatever you want, but I don't want to do that. So I actually thought about having like a retirement home farm, but of course I don't have land. So now I could say, yeah, I'll take your older animals. We'll just all hang out at the campsite for the summer until next year happens. And we're like, well, this was not smart. So I don't know how we would implement that at this point. And I don't have money for vet bills. I'd have to like apply for grants and figure that stuff out. But there are a lot of people kind of doing that already. So I could join one of their operations to kind of get the lowdown. I don't think it would be difficult to start it personally, but anyway. So yeah, we will see what happens next.